Were you able to hear me?
Yes, absolutely. We're happy to have you here.
Okay, all right.
I'm going to pass it over to Brittany to get started.
Well, welcome everyone to another 21st Century Community Learning Center National Technical Assistance Center Huddle, where we come together for a quick webinar to share with you things that could be useful to you and your programs. These huddles are brief, 30-minute sessions where we'll highlight great resources, share bite-sized pieces of information, explore the latest research, and more. We'll explore the included tools and discuss implementation strategies you can use in your program to guide positive student behavior, all in just 30 minutes today. But before that, let's listen to our disclaimer.
This resource was developed in 2024 by the Nita M. Lowy 21st Century Community Learning Center's 21st CCLC National Technical Assistance Center, NTAC, funded under a grant from the U.S. Department of Education Department and administered by Synergy Enterprises Incorporated under Cooperative Agreement Number 287E230009 with the Department's Office of Elementary and Secondary Education. Opinions expressed herein do not necessarily reflect the position or policy of the Department, nor does mention of trade names, commercial products, or organizations imply endorsement by the Department or the federal government. This resource is in the public domain and is available at 21stcclcntac.org. Authorization to reproduce it in whole or in part is granted.
So the purpose of the 21st CCLC NTAC is to support everyone who plays a role in the implementation of 21st CCLC programs so that you can engage and empower students and their families. We do this by providing evidence-based resources and professional learning opportunities that build capacity of stakeholders. All educators struggle with managing student behavior. When students act out and disturb program schedules, we don't always know how to respond. In the moment, calming the student is the priority, but that's not a long-term solution. When we focus on building student skills, we can prevent future incidents and teach students to manage intense emotions productively. When we understand that all students' behavior is caused, we recognize that students act out to fulfill their needs. With our new understanding of student behaviors and the continued commitment of building relationships with our students, we can create inclusive programs where everyone is welcomed and supported. This falls in line with the 21st CCLC NTAC priorities of supporting students' SEL needs and promoting student engagement. My name is Brittany Stanton, and I am a NTAC technical assistant, and I have a background in classroom education and nonprofit after school, out of school time programs. And this is my colleague, Hillary.
I'm Hillary Jones. I'm one of the senior technical assistance liaisons, and it's a pleasure to be here with all of you today. I am excited, Brittany, to see some people here from Indiana. We got to spend some time in Indiana a couple of weeks ago, and we are glad you are joining us for more resources. Today, we are going to talk about the Guiding Positive Student Behavior Toolkit, which includes 15 tools that we are going to talk about. They were developed for 21st CCLC programs, but any out-of-school time program can use them. You can view or download the tools on the 21st CCLC National Technical Assistance website. The entire toolkit is available for download as a zip file, and I am going to share a link to the website right now in the chat. You will also be able to see here how you can navigate to it, because we are going to begin to do that in a moment. You can use the tools in the toolkit to support professional development by reading them to increase your understanding of a topic or a strategy, such as our topic for today. You can check out ideas you'd like to put into practice or learn more about them. And you can even use the tools in staff training sessions as discussion starters or as part of a think, pair, share, or small group activity. You can also use them to help your program implement or improve a practice. You can use the tools to assess and reflect on what you already know. and what you need to know and do to implement or improve a practice. You can use the tools during a planning strategy session to inform decisions about how to adjust current practices or implement new ones. And you can share bite-sized ideas from tools in emails and text messages or staff meetings to help program staff implement a new strategy or practice. Please customize the tools to include information or examples or guidance that's specific to your program. Finally, these tools can help you as you engage and inspire the stakeholders that you work with, as you share a tool or ideas from a tool with school day staff, with community leaders, with partners, with volunteers, families, or students to help them understand a program initiative or to inspire them to get involved. You can share excerpts or ideas in your newsletters, in emails, and social media posts, and in other communications with stakeholders. So today, we are going to highlight a few trusted tools and materials curated by the National Technical Assistance Team aimed at guiding positive student behavior. And so we will be exploring our own experiences with guiding positive behavior, as well as review resources to help you at each stage in addressing the challenges you're facing. So before we dive into these resources we're promising, we want to hear from you about the challenges you are facing regarding positive behavior. So what I want you to do is grab your annotation tool by selecting View Options at the top of your screen. It shows up right next to the green bar that says you are viewing Brittany Stanton's screen. And you can grab an annotation tool there and select a stamp or a marker, and you can use it to mark up what we're going to see on the next screen. So we've got a series of boxes that we believe are reflective of some of the challenges that we face in our programs, whether it's engagement, whether it's behavior management, relationship building, individualized support, communication, or staff training and support. So grab your annotation tool and mark your top challenges that you're facing. If you want to add some details in the chat or unmute and share, we also love to hear from you. We've got a behavior management answer. That's always one of the top ones that comes up. Some staff training and support, absolutely. So as you think about these challenges, and feel free to keep adding to this screen, you may be facing challenges around engagement. That's that keeping all students engaged in activities, especially when they have different interests, different energy levels, different abilities. We think about behavior management, and addressing disruptive behavior while maintaining a positive learning environment is crucial. And so we develop clear and consistent rules and consequences, as well as rewards that can help in that behavior management process. We have relationship building, where we build positive relationships between staff and students. And this is essential for creating a supportive environment. We need to establish trust and rapport, and it takes time, but it's crucial for guiding positive. Individualized support is recognizing that each student is unique and may require different strategies for behavior guidance. Providing individualized support and accommodations for students with special needs or challenges can help promote positive behavior. I saw we got a few more answers around communication. That effective communication, especially between staff, students, parents, guardians, is essential for addressing behavioral concerns and maintaining a collaborative approach to behavior management. And then staff support and training is that equipping of staff with the necessary training and support to effectively manage behavior. And it's a crucial part of what we do. And this includes training around positive behavior management techniques, conflict resolution, and cultural competence. And so we've got some great answers here, Brittany, but whatever challenges you're facing, this tool has something for you because it addresses all 6 of these things. And you can access it on our 21st CCLC NTAC.org website on the Our Resources tab. Right here, you can see our resources and then click on Professional Learning. And if you scroll down, you'll be able to see, access, and download the zip file with the toolkit in it. And so, as you begin, as you access this, I'd encourage you to jump on right now as you're listening, take a look at some of these tools, but Brittany's also going to share them as we work our way through them. And so we're going to start by looking at this guiding positive behavior and several tools that you can use to support your own growth. Our tool, emotional regulation strategies that use and teach skills, will help you learn about emotional regulation and dysregulation, get strategies for managing behavior caused by dysregulation. You'll also read about emotional regulation skills to share with students. Our Guiding Positive Student Behavior Research and Practice Brief summarizes findings from research and practice that can help you understand and respond appropriately to challenges and concerns related to student behavior. Restorative Practices, Introductions, Tips, and Research is a tool you can use to learn about restorative practices and their effectiveness in the education setting. We are going to take a closer look now, though, at one of these tools. It's called Real Talk, Coaching Techniques to Use with Staff and Students. Real Talk is a way to coach someone by using questions and dialogue to help them clarify what they're thinking, to set realistic goals, or to make a decision. This is a technique you can use with staff. Some of you said you need support around staff development. And this technique is one that shows respect by taking ideas seriously and responding with genuine curiosity and care. It's a space where we're honest, where if staff ask for our opinion, and we stand by their side as they face challenging situations. This tool helps you give feedback that isn't too critical, but keeps it real by guiding and supporting them through the critical thinking process so that they can make their own judgment. Your responses might offer a different perspective from the staff member that you're talking to, an overlooked fact, or new information that could help them move to a clear solution or plan. It's full of strategies for supporting your staff and their development. We also offer a variety of tools that you can use to plan and implement changes in how you handle behavior in your program or your classroom. Some of these tools include creating a group norms agreement where you can get best practices, examples, and a norms agreement template. I always love a good template, Brittany. Participatory response options to engage students is another tool that includes some ways to give all students a chance to participate, not just those who raise their hand first or talk the loudest. Providing feedback that feeds the whole person is a tool that can be used to reflect on feedback that has impacted you, both positively and negatively, and then use those experiences and suggestions in the tool to identify strategies for giving feedback to students or staff. We also have a questionnaire around building student-educator relationships. You can use the responses in this questionnaire to get to know your students better and help build positive relationships. Strategies for creating a positive learning environment tool includes strategies to create a program environment that nurtures students intellectually, emotionally, and in a variety of other ways. But we are going to look at two tools more closely. First, the program practices to guide student behavior tool. In this tool, you review and choose from 10 strategies for establishing appropriate behavior norms. Activities like daily meetings and team building activities can lay the foundation for an effective learning environment. And so as we scroll through this tool, I would love to hear from any of you. Have you ever used any of these practices before? Let us know in the chat what your favorite thing to do is. Is it a daily meeting, a check-in, right? These are some great ideas that you can use to support your students. Let us know or share a new creative one that we may not have thought of, because you can share these with your colleagues and benefit them as well. Addressing challenging student behaviors can feel overwhelming. It might seem like you're always reacting to student behavior rather than guiding or influencing. The practices in this guide focus energy and attention, yours and your students, on actions that can make a positive difference. They can also help you feel more prepared when challenges arise. So here's the second tool. The second tool I said we were going to dive deeper in this section is the guiding positive student behavior cue cards. These cue cards can be used to improve or refresh your knowledge about student behavior, to prompt discussion among staff and volunteers, or to support training and practice. Staff and volunteers may vary in their ideas, their experiences, and their beliefs about behavior and behavior management. Establishing a shared language and understanding helps everyone guide and respond to behavior consistently and appropriately to ensure a positive learning environment. That's why I think these cards are a great resource for staff training and support. So there are 3 sets of cards. There are key terms that define a term or concept that's relevant to student behavior, and it provides an example and explains the importance, the why it matters. Then there are the assumptions about student behavior cards. Here, each card describes a student behavior and an assumption people might make about why the behavior is happening or what it means, the reality of why it might be happening, and a tip. These cards are more like cautionary tales about the perils of implicit bias or jumping to conclusions and making assumptions that may or may not be true. The third type of cards are the challenges and solutions. Each card presents a challenge, for example, homework time meltdown, and strategies to consider if a similar situation arises in your program, and tips for putting those strategies to use. I love these cards because they're great for staff training and development. You can pull out one in a staff meeting and talk through it in a few minutes, or you could use them and use the whole series of them for an extended professional development or training option. And so then we move to this final section of tools or set of tools within this toolkit, the tools that help us assess and reflect on your program. These tools include staff self-care practices. This tool includes self-care ideas and a template to help you track what works for you personally. Managing stress helps you respond appropriately to challenging student behaviors. And so we have to do that for ourselves before we can begin to help our students. And 10 daily practices to engage all students is a guide that describes simple but important best practices that provide structure, consistency, and empowerment for students. In this section, though, we're going to look more closely at the stress reduction for work-life balance tool. I think we all could use a little stress reduction. And so this reflection guide helps you consider what you can and can't control. It helps you set boundaries and manage frustrations. It focuses on goals and impacts. Boundaries are these emotional and physical guidelines, norms, or limits that define what's appropriate, safe, and permissible behavior for yourself and others. And so when others don't know about and respect individual and shared boundaries, stress can affect everyone's health and well-being. Likewise, when you understand what you can and you can't control, you can let go of issues that cause frustration and focus on the areas where you can have an impact. So you can use this tool to grow your own understanding of the 5 types of boundaries and consider what you would say when your boundary has been violated and how to do it. And so I would love to hear from all of you as we ran through these tools rather quickly. What is something that you want to use coming out of these tools today? What's one tool you want to explore? What's one thing that you're interested in? Yes, love the cards. Absolutely. I mean, when I was running programs, I always was having my staff talk through scenarios and strategies we could use. And something like this just makes it easy to do. So I really appreciate that. Who else has one that they love? Brittany, did you have a favorite?
So I really like the stress reduction work-life balance that we just took a look at, because so often people hear self-care and they go, well, I don't have time or money to go get a massage, or, like, and the equivalent of self-care translates to things that you have to spend money to do. And that's just not the case. Like, self-care is also creating these boundaries for yourself, and using a stress reduction tool like this can be extremely helpful, because so many times when we are working in these programs, we're giving so much of ourselves, and for good reason, because there's a cause and the kids and we believe behind it. But there's also, you can't take care of your program or your children in the program if you aren't taking care of yourself. Just like they say, every time you board a plane, they go through the oxygen mask, they say you got to put it on for yourself first before you help somebody else. And I think a tool like this could be really helpful for folks.
I so agree. And it's important for us, those of us who are in leadership roles, those of us who are overseeing kids, to take the time to do those things. And they often fall so quickly to the back of our agenda because it's not the most pressing thing, but really it helps us be better at our job. I also really appreciated the Real Talk tool. I thought that tool to help support and talk about creative strategies was so impactful. And so many of us come to leadership roles in out of school time, and we may be trained as educators or social workers or whatever it is, but we're not necessarily trained how to supervise other adults. And so I think all of the tools around that, if you're in a leadership role where you're supervising other adults, are so helpful to have conversations. And it's not just for staff, it's for students too. And sometimes we have to talk to students about real things in compassionate ways. Holly liked the getting to know your students questions. I think it's so important to always have creative ways to build those relationships with students, because when we do, we're supporting that guiding of positive student behavior. And so it's such a creative and important place for us to lean into each of these things and what we're doing as we create spaces for that. You got a ditto on if you don't have work-life balance and find time for yourself, you really can't be of use to anyone else.
The other thing that I really like about these tools, Hillary, is that they are, each one is like bite-sized. You can choose what works for you, what you want to try and implement at your next staff meeting, or if you're having like a professional development day or something like that, you can pick one and you can work on it together with your team. And then the next time, pick a new one to try. It's not, you don't have to take them all right now. Find what looks interesting to you, give it a try, and then come back to the toolkit and pick something new later.
Yeah, and I think that that's exactly what we appreciate. And so that said, is why we talked about a ton of resources today that are available in the toolkit. We didn't dig into very many of them very quickly because this is such a short snippet of time. And so we want to encourage you to be able to go back to that toolkit. And so if you're looking at our website and you're up at the scroll up to the top of the homepage, one of the things that you'll see under our resources, and then you click that very first option for professional learning, the toolkits are available, but there's several other resources on this page. There's a learning recovery course that you can see here that is available for you to explore if that's one of the areas that you want to dig into a little bit more. We encourage you to check this course out. You also can see, once you scroll down some more on this page, that there's several mini courses. So there's a mini course on becoming a leader. Some of you probably already know that we're also doing a leadership series. So join us tomorrow at this same time, same place for the leadership series on servant leadership, and a whole course on guiding positive student behavior. So if you're looking for more and you want to go deeper, that's the place to do it. There's also a variety of micro learnings around things like trauma-informed approaches and the role of a mandated reporter. You can explore these different approaches. And these are quick grab and go bites that you can use. And then along with the Guiding Positive Student Behavior Toolkit that, as we said before, you can download, it's a complete zip file. There's also a Becoming a Leader toolkit and a summer learning implementation planner that you can use. We got one more comment on the cards, because sometimes dealing with all the different personalities and behaviors can be overwhelming, but you can go to the cards. right? Sometimes you can use them as a quick reference and it doesn't automatically have to kick into what you're doing. And so I like the way that you express that. So thank you for sharing that thought.
I also want to add real quickly that you can go to the external resource library, and in there is a whole bunch of other tools, but there is one in here about guiding positive student behavior that you can, there's like a little walkthrough tutorial and activities and things that you can do. So make sure you really explore all the things that this wonderful NTAC website has to offer.
Absolutely. And don't forget to sign up for our April-May newsletter. That's the NTAC Messenger that's coming out soon, so that you stay up to date on upcoming workshops, sessions, resources, and content. So be on the lookout for that. Please reach out to us with any questions at info@21stcclc.org, and you can stay informed about what's going on through all of these resources. We are going to, in a moment, launch a poll for you, and we'd like to have you take a moment and share what are the things that you experienced during the session. So we're going to launch that now, but please complete this poll. Help us improve how impactful these sessions are for everybody who's joining, who's checking out these resources really quickly. It's an important part of the work that we do and how we engage in this process. If you're interested in more on this topic, on May 16th, we are doing a session called More Than a Band-Aid, Guiding Positive Student Behavior. And so if you signed up for that NTAC Messenger, you will get the registration information for that. You can still do it now. We've got the QR code up on the screen. As soon as you finish the Huddle, as soon as you finish the Huddle poll, you should be able to access it. But take a moment and do both of those things. Make sure you're signing up. The poll should have popped straight up on your screen, but if it didn't, you should be able to see a button along the bottom for polls to be able to access that. Just 2 questions, so we do want you to make sure that you fill that out. Sign up, follow us on X and LinkedIn. We are active there, sharing all kinds of resources, not just the ones we shared today. There's new things coming all the time. So Brittany, I think we gave everybody a bunch of things to dig through today, but I want to add one more thing as we wrap up our session today and encourage you to save the date for the 21st CCLC Summer Symposium. This is scheduled for July 31st through August 1st in San Francisco, California. The theme for the conference is the Bridge to Excellence. Together we can, together we will. There are many sessions that will be shared there, lots of information. And so if you are out on the hunt for resources, we encourage you to consider registering for the conference itself. We would love to see you there. Both Brittany and I plan to be there, and we appreciate your time, energy, etc. So I do just want to open the floor for a moment, see if there's any questions. If not, we will wrap up shortly. We'll hang out a moment, but if you do have any questions, feel free to unmute yourself or drop them in the chat. Brittany and I are happy to answer them. Please make sure you sign up for the NTAC Messenger, complete the poll, and download all the resources. Thank you, and it was a pleasure to be with you all today.